Welcome to rant number 1. I want to talk about the electoral system. I think it needs to be more like the Swiss model, and maybe even more radical than the Swiss model. The electoral system, we need to vote on single issues, and we need to vote, I think in Switzerland they vote quarterly on issues that the public want to be voted on. And we need to vote on single issues rather than voting for parties with their party hampers, because I keep hearing politicians say we get an overwhelming mandate at the last election. Yeah, at the moment political parties, we vote for political parties mostly. It's meant to be you vote for your MP, but most people are voting for a party, and the party leader says the people voted for our mandate, which is a lot of stuff, and you can think of it as hampers, or you can think of it as selection boxes, and there's a lot of crunchies in the selection box, which nobody wants. But if you're voting for one thing or the other, then you end up voting for them anyway. So I would rather vote in single issues, say quarterly, because that's another thing that annoys me. In Scotland, until the last election, it was every 4 years. We elected MSPs. Now Nicola Sturgeon's made it every 5 years. And if I was a dictator, that's what I would go for as well. I'm not meaning Nicola, I'm just meaning if you're a leader, you want as long as you've got, because you really want to plan long term, but that's not how democracy works. And then things can change in 5 years, way beyond the people having a chance to vote on big change. So I think it should be voting, say, every quarterly on issues that the public have raised. I see that the Scottish Parliament's now got a sort of People's Parliament, and I don't know if they're thinking of letting the people do things that will become law. I hope not, because I don't think that's a good idea. But I suppose they realise that they're trying to get closer to being in touch with people. Because at the moment politicians on TV say things like, I'm not getting any emails from my constituents about it. Well, that's because constituents don't do. About 95% of constituents will never contact their MP or MSP. It's just ridiculous. And that's another thing. I think MPs and MSPs should do free surveys all the time about issues, so people can sign up for surveys. So MPs and MSPs should be doing surveys all the time by email to their constituents. Constituents can sign up for free, and they don't get any money for doing the surveys. It's something that you can do or you don't do. But then it lets MPs and MSPs get an idea what you're thinking on a subject. So that's some of my ideas. And another thing, I think voting should be mostly by electronic voting nowadays. You can get a credit card or a bank card for decades, so I don't know why we can't vote in the normal way by electronic voting. I'm sure there are concerns, but you need to iron them out. Yeah, so in summary, we need to vote on single issues on referendum pretty regular, say every four times a year, I don't know, same as the Swiss model, or however that is. For elections, that's another thing. For elections, they need to be every 3 years. 5 years is too long. 4 years is even too long in my opinion. Every 3 years. I know they do 3 years in Australia, and for the party hamper sort of thing that we've got at the moment, well, you need to do every 3 years. And in Australia, they make everybody vote by law, but I don't agree with that, because if you don't want to vote, you shouldn't have to vote. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But my main thing was we need to vote on single issues and referendums, and we need electronic voting, because At the moment it's designed for OAPs, old age pensioners, who are basically probably the main bulk of the voters. You need to sort it out for the working people and for everybody. And I think there's one country, maybe Norway or Sweden, where they can vote electronically and they can change their minds up to the last minute of the election day. So that means the politicians have still got it all to play for during the electoral campaign. So that's my ideas. I've forgotten most of them. That's rant number 1. And there's many more to come.